78 Sports TV here. Salute to the mighty LDBC. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe, turn on your notification bells to be notified when I drop a new video. And if you're digging the video, go ahead and share this joint. Shout out to Molly Qerim over there on ESPN First Take. She just let these boys have it. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe embarrassed themselves today. Shout out to Kendrick Perkins too for holding it down. So we all know that last night there was some pushing and shoving, a minor. I mean, they called it a brawl, but it wasn't really a brawl because there wasn't no punches thrown. In the NBA between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Detroit Pistons, okay? And, the Pistons are always, they got forces over there. They're the bad boys, you know what I'm saying? They're bringing that culture back. So it's always a little rough, rugged with Isaiah Stewart and all them guys. But, so they got a little chippy, and it got to pushing and shoving. There was, I think, like 7 ejections last night. A couple of the coaches got ejected. So, they were talking about it today on the ESPN First Take, and they asked Kendrick Perkins first what are his thoughts about it. Kendrick Perkins says it's about time. He said, I'm tired of all these jersey swapping and all this. We about to be in the playoffs. We need to turn up the intensity. It's good to see guys that are out here that don't like each other, that are competing. He said, we don't ever want to see it go into the fans, into the crowd or nothing like that. We don't want to see nobody get hurt, but we want to see some intensity. And they're wrong with the physicality being back into the game of basketball. So Shannon Sharpe disagreed with him. Shannon Sharpe said that because that's not how the NBA gonna see it. They're gonna see it differently. You still can have good basketball without being physical, without being that physical and this type of stuff. Then Stephen A. Smith comes out and says, well, no, Adam Silver's not going to take it that way, Perk. I had no problem with it, but Adam Silver is going to say that these guys are going to need to be suspended. He wants to take away the physicality and blah, 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 blah. And Adam Silver this, and the NBA is not going to look at it that way. Molly said, listen, y'all sound like some hypocrites. All you do over here every day is talk about how soft the generation is. There's no physicality anymore. Bunch of whining crybabies in the NBA. As soon as you see anything that reminds you remotely of the 80s and 90s, here you go crying about that now. About how the NBA ain't going to like this and this and that. So, Stephen A. tried to clean it up. No, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem myself. I just know that the commissioner's going to have a problem. Kendrick Perkins rolled his eyes at him like, dude, cut it out, man. This is ridiculous. Like, listen, and this is why I'm glad Molly did this. She stood on business, and she kept putting it in their face. No, this is what y'all say. When the hockey dude was on the show a couple months ago, whatever, when the guy from hockey was talking about how weak the NBA was, and these guys don't compete no more, and hockey, we physical, and we fight, and this and that, y'all was on there agreeing with him, kissing his behind. So now, you getting that in the NBA again, you have one little incident where nobody even got hurt, there was no punches thrown, no bloodshed. Now y'all here once again tiptoeing through the tulips. This is what my problem with Stephen A. Smith. He walks. I'm telling you, he walks that balancing beam like nobody else. He says one thing out of the right side of his mouth, something else out the left side of his mouth. You cannot serve two masters, Stephen A. Smith. But he tries. He tries, and Molly getting tired of it. She see it. She see it, and she tired of it. She tired of looking at it. I mean, Shannon and Stephen A. played themselves today. They really did. And Perkins and Molly stood on business, and they finished it off by saying, look, I don't want to hear nothing else on this show about how soft the NBA is if y'all talking like this. And this is the thing that Stephen A. has to understand. And he does understand, he's just playing this game. Stephen A. admitted on the show that other sports like hockey, baseball, and whatever, the perception is different when they get into scuffles because they are white folk. But the NBA and the NFL are predominantly black, so it's looked at differently. Okay, well, whose job is it to fix that? I mean, what's the point of making $100 million if you're scared to open your mouth and say anything? I'm like, I don't understand this. What are you saying? Call it out for what it is then. If that's a problem, then call it out. Why would you, as a black man who is making all this money, sitting on television, creating all these narratives, why don't you challenge the NBA? You challenge LeBron James on his parenting. Why can't you challenge the NBA and say, hey, look, man, I rock with the NBA, but y'all too soft. And this start from the top down. Yeah, we could blame the players, but Commissioner Adam Silver, you got to tell these refs to stop calling every little tic-tac foul. Dudes scared to play defense. You gotta bring some physicality back into the game. Y'all can do that, but y'all scared. You don't want to challenge Adam Silver, but you'll challenge these players and tell them that they need to be more physical and this and that. But at what cost? You're sitting on television every day with all this power. Shannon Sharpe, you too. Y'all both come on here bragging about how big y'all is. You know, I'm the man, I'm this, I'm that, I'm making all this money. That's what y'all do, compete against each other. But then you cower when it's time for you to stand up. Unless, of course, you trying to get some brother fired. Or you trying to critique some brother. Oh, y'all, you open your mouth, you real tough, man. But it's time for you to critique some brother. Here y'all go, huffing and puffing, all on TV, poking your chest out. What you do. But then, when that same person who dissing you look like Skip Bayless, now is, you know, you want to bite your tongue and you know, you want to show all this restraint. Stop it, bro. You dudes have the power to create the narratives. You don't think the NBA league office was watching ESPN First Take today? They want to know what you guys think. They want to know how the world is perceiving that fight. That's that little scuffle last night. Because if y'all come on here and say how Perkins said it, and Molly said, hey, look, I ain't had no problem with it. It's playoff time. Look like playoff basketball to me. If y'all come on here and say, if that's the narrative, the NBA is going to follow suit and say, well, you know what? Maybe we should try. Maybe just let these guys get more physical. And not no fighting, but, you know, pushing and shoving a little bit. You know, stop all these technical fouls for me mugging somebody. You know, let's bring it back to some competition. Because let me tell you something. It's not the players' fault that this country perceives black aggression differently than they do white aggression. That's not the players' fault. That's a personal problem for the people in this country. And you, if you're going to be on TV bragging about how much money you make, Stephen A., Shannon Sharpe, and the rest of y'all, stand on some business. Shout out to Molly and shout out to Kendra Perkins. 78 Sports TV, salute to the mighty LDBC. Smash the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. On Polly Deuces.